going on, everybody?
Hey.
Welcome. This is Vladimir from V Power Fit.
And Ryan from ClickFit.
And we're going to do a special Ask the Trainer, right? But it's not really Ask the Trainer, it's more like we're going to discuss a particular topic, right? So, let's give you the context before we could dive in, right? So, our lovely producer hurt his back, right? So, one of the things that me and Ryan were talking about was we will rebuild him. We will make him bigger, stronger, and faster. But he's older, as you know, whatever. But for him to be to where he was and to get back to where he was, we have to go through the process of knowing what's actually wrong, what he can do, what he can't do. And for some of you, this discussion might actually help you because there's a lot of people, not just in the United States, just around the world, who have herniated discs, slip discs, bulging discs. And it's in the common area. I think you said it's L4, L5.
Sciatica also.
Sciatica. Yeah. These are common problems that happen. And it doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are. Yes, with age it tends to happen a little bit more, but it doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are, it can happen to anybody. But one of the things that people want to avoid, and it is avoidable, is surgery, right? You don't have to go under the knife right away to get this corrected. It is going to take work. It is going to take rehab, physical therapy, and after physical therapy, it's getting the muscles and the body ready and stronger to do certain things where that might not be an issue anymore. You may still have a little bit of the pain, a little of the tingling or whatever, but you won't be using a cane or a walker or a wheelchair further on down the road as long as you get your body better.
It is my belief that most people's problems when it comes to the physical pains in their body may be solvable through exercise or through some sort of restorative treatment, physical restorative treatment. I'm a personal trainer for the past 10 years, and in this journey I've discovered and explored different ways of treating pain. Everyone has pain. Many people have pain. And what is the first thing that you think of when it comes to pain? Painkillers. You have your Advil, you have your ibuprofen, you have your too many different painkillers. And from my personal experience, I found that I've found great success in resolving pains when we're not looking at the symptoms but the cause. And as we address the cause, what is off, what is imbalanced that caused you to feel pain or cause your body to move in a certain way that is inappropriate for it, that caused the damage or the discomfort. And when we address those imbalances, no imbalance, no pain. So the goal is, how do we restore the body to its most efficient state?
Right.
I didn't like how I talked.
That's fine. But the thing is, a lot of people don't realize is they don't know what a muscle imbalance is. A lot of people don't even know what a herniated disc is. And a herniated disc is, just to give you a quick explanation, I'm not a doctor or anything, so I'm not going to give you the overly scientific version of what it is, but pretty much you have a spine, right? Everybody has one of these, last time I checked, right? When they said L4, L5, it's like L meaning lumbar spine, which is the lower back, and 5 just like the placement of where that disc is in the 4th and 5th space. In between those spaces, you have what they call a disc. This is a cushion in between the spine, because if it was just bone on bone, everybody would be in pain all day, every day. So
there's cartilage in between each vertebrae, and with bulging disc, with herniated disc, they're all the same, just different name. But pretty much what it is your vertebrae has compressed the cartilage in an inappropriate ways, that the disc is no longer in alignment. And
Right.
because of that, this is the network system for your body, and there's a lot of electrical signals, and these signals can get pinched, these nerves can get pinched. And when there's impingement, there is pain.
Right. So
So,
this is your spine. The disc is here. What happens is when it bends to a certain way, maybe it bends this way, that disc, which is sitting here, comes out. Slightly, all the way, depends on the severity of the injury. And like he said, it presses against a nerve, right? For some people. And since it's L4, L5, it's what? The sciatic nerve, right? That's sciatic nerve. And it's very painful, okay? It's very painful. Some people are crippled by how painful it can be, right? And our lovely producer had that injury, and now that we explain what the herniated disc is.
a lot of times it is preventable
Mm-hmm.
if you know the warning signs and you take the time to address it. A lot of times people will push through it, and in the moment where they think they can is when the body shows up. Yeah, nah.
Yeah, like one of the rules of thumb that I give my clients is, if you're sore, you can work through it. If you're in pain, stop. The reason why is when you're in pain, that is your body's way of saying, yo, something's not right. That's why you need to stop. By continuing to doing what you're doing, you're only going to further exacerbate the pain, right? Some of you have probably done something, oh, my leg hurts or whatever, but I'm going to keep doing X, Y, Z because I need to finish. And then the next day you're like, oh, my leg, can't move it. Because you've done more damage than you need to. So, like I said, soreness, work through it because everybody gets sore.
No.
Pain, and pain is subjective. Pain, stop. Just stop. Live to fight another day, you know. But,
What I want to discuss today are how do we address and how do we identify when something is off in our body, and or the varying ways that we can resolve it or so. So first thing first, day-to-day life dictates how your body is designed. A lot of times we sit a lot, and that in itself compromises the body. We stand a lot, that in itself compromises the body. We walk a lot, that in itself compromises the body. Darned if you do, darned if you don't, the body does go through a system of wear and tear. Right? There is a point where we're doing work, and there's a point where it's workout, and if our body doesn't recognize, our body does recognize the difference between work and workout. Workout breaks down the body in a certain way that tells the body to repair and upgrade, and work brings wear and tear. Over time, it's bound to happen. In both cases, we still need to do a reset, and we often don't do resets, which is stretching, myofascial release, which is foam rolling or so. And these are two very basic things that we can do. It is recommended to do at least 3 to 5 times a week, right? But even once a week is better than no times a week.
I mean, a simple rule of thumb that I tell people, and I think is very easy to follow, is when it comes to stretching, right? And listen, I don't stretch every single day, right? So I'll be a lie if I tell you stretch every single day. I think you should, but like you said, life dictates what you do and what you don't do. And you're saying 3 to 5 days a week, you should stretch. Stretching doesn't take that long. It takes like 15 minutes, right?
Can
like
be even 5 minutes.
Could even be 5 minutes. But if you want to the longer the stretching session, not stretching that one individual part, stretching session with mobility drills, just like moving in certain ways, you're doing your body a service. That is part of body conditioning. And one of the things I tell people is like, do it before you go to bed, or do it when you wake up. You know, at least, like if you get up at 7:30 in the morning, get up at 7:15 and just stretch for a little bit. Or, hey, I gotta be in bed by 9 o'clock. 5 minutes to 9, do a quick stretch. You know what I'm saying? Like your body will love you for it. I tend to say the before bed, and this is just my personal opinion, because your body, after you stretch, your body's at rest, and that's usually when your body does, it's reset, right? It's hard reset. There's a lot of hormones that go on during your sleep. Your body resets in terms of like spinal alignment. Resets when you sleep. A lot of times, if you, just to give an example, if you go to bed, right? Measure how tall you are before you go to bed. You went through the day, measure yourself, right? How tall you are. Go to sleep. When you first wake up, when you first jump out of bed, you measure yourself. For some people, or you tend to be a little bit taller first getting out of bed. Why? Because when you're walking, you're up on your feet all day, your spine compresses. When you're sleeping, the spine is able to reset and decompress, right? And that's how, like, stretching will be beneficial to you. So as you're stretching, you gain your muscles, not just loose, but just out of those tight positions that they were in all day. Like, I have a desk job, a producer has a desk job, so our hip flexors tend to be in a shortened state for most of the day. So that's going to impact how we walk. That's going to impact how we do our workouts, squats, deadlifts, this, that, and third, because there's not a lot of mobility here. So that's why it is important to do those stretches or whatever. Because when you're in a short position and you're strong in that position, it is hard to really like work out to the full range of motion of your body's capability. And because of that, you will have overcompensation somewhere. And when you have overcompensation, because the body is very efficient in overcompensation, because of that, you're gonna get hurt somewhere, right? Because that body part that's overcompensating is doing more work than it's supposed to. Perfect example, if your glutes are weak, your hamstring has to overcompensate, guess what? Pulled hamstring. So it is important not just to get those things strong, but to also get them flexible.
So what I'm recommending is a few exercises based on your lifestyle. If you are someone that sits a lot, you're going to want to stretch out your quads and your hip flexors daily or as frequently as possible. The more you do it, the better off you are, with the exception of overdoing it. If your body says too much, listen to your body. Don't be too ambitious and say, let me stretch, I can go really deep. Because can mean snap. Second, if you stand a lot, it may be the opposite. You have to pay attention to what your body's feeling. So you may have similar symptoms, whether it be lower back pain or knee pain or so. Be aware of what you're feeling and what you've been doing before then. So check the lengthening of your quads. If you're sitting a lot, this shortened position makes this very tight. Your quads may be fine for some people, but for others, if it's not the quads, it's the hip flexor or it's both. One solution, one thing that you can do while standing, hold your foot, stretch. If this is something that is very difficult for you to do, consider doing it lying down. If you're lying down on your side, you can do it and still bring the leg up and hold. That is more comfortable for some people than actually standing up where you're having the pressure and you're forcing your body to balance. So that is one thing.
Also, just to add to that real quick, right? A lot of people like bend back. You're not stretching your back. You're not stretching your abs. You're stretching your hip flexors. So one thing that will help in facilitating that stretch specifically is to contract that glute. Why? Because the glute causes you to be upright, which will help with the stretch in the hip flexor.
Yeah.
Just a little caveat, just let people know, because a lot of people don't do that.
If you stand a lot, you want to make sure that all the muscles in your body are active. So a lot of times it's a static thing where you're not moving or you have restricted movements. You walk forward, you walk backward, but you don't do side to side. You should consider doing mobility exercise that gives you that full range. So you have the lateral swings, you have the front and back swings, you have step ups, all of these give your body the chance to warm up the muscles fully and also give them the experience of activity while being bent. A lot of times we tend to lock out our joints, lock out the knees, and that causes, once again, just like the spine and the herniated disc, cartilage compression. As you over time continuously compress your cartilage, standing upright with your knees locked out, the cartilage gets worn out faster and you now have bone and bone, which is pain. Doctors say this is untreatable, or not untreatable, but you cannot.
You don't grow back your cartilage.
Yes. So you'd have to have surgery or get synthetic cartilage placed in.
And that usually doesn't work too great either, because it's not the original.
It still doesn't
Same
address
like
the
OG.
cause of the problem. Okay? So lifestyle changes. If you're standing a lot, you want to give yourself moments in which you rest, and also learn not to lock out your joints. Locking out your joints, even if you're striking, boxing, or so, causes more damage to you as well. So take these into consideration. Next is abductors and adductors, inner and outer thighs. These muscles are used for hip stability, and we have the habit of walking, moving in one direction, just that plane. And if we ignore abductors and adductors, we're ignoring essential muscles that will stabilize your hips. And so at some point, the weakest link gets
And I
damaged.
think one thing that, especially if you're new to exercise, and some of this may sound a little intimidating, one is not really intimidating, it's very simple things to follow. But also, get you a personal trainer. Why? Because he can spot your muscle imbalances for you if you don't know what a muscle imbalance is. Because a lot of people don't know what I'm going to throw a trainer stuff out there, right? Nope. A lot of people don't know what anterior pelvic tilt is. They don't know what posterior pelvic tilt is. They don't know about kyphosis and shoot, what's the other one? Lordosis, no. Whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of muscle imbalances that have names that you guys will say it. You will not know what we're talking about, but we can see it. You know, some people have anterior pelvic tilt where these are your hips, it tilts forward. Posterior, it tilts backward. That's not a good type of posture to be walking in because you're leaving yourself susceptible to risk, right? There's people with pronated ankles. There's people with knock knees. There's people who walk pigeon-toed. Those are muscle imbalances. But people think, well, that's how I'm just am. No, that's a muscle imbalance. There's people who walk hunched over. Well, I'm just born like that. No, you're not. It's bad posture.
supported by habits
By
and
habits.
environment.
Exactly. And it's something that is correctable, but a lot of people don't know how to correct it. A
And
personal
over
trainer will
time-
tell you how to correct it.
Over extended period of time in those forms, muscles do atrophy, and also the bone structure does conform to these new positions. And the longer you're in it, the less easy it is to get out of it.
Right.
Either case,
Stay tuned because we're going to fix our producer. All right. It's going to be something that we work on a day-to-day basis. Something like that. We're gonna help, him not just feel better, but we're gonna help him so this type of injury doesn't happen again, right? We're gonna take him through the proper channels of posture, unilateral exercises, strengthening exercises, correcting muscle imbalances, correcting posture, and we're gonna chronicle it because we feel like that can help some of you people who have this condition. So till then, stay tuned. Again, click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so when we do put a video up, that you guys see that it's up, because you don't want to miss it. All right, man. V Power out. You say
Ryan out.
Oh, okay, I was going to say. Peace.